Hi, Dr. Andrea Maxim, naturopathic doctor, back here again. And we are going to now discuss how to break down what you should be having on a daily basis. I do a lot of work with my weight loss patients, and the number one question everybody seems to have is, well, what is it that I eat in order to promote weight loss? Most of the time, it's about under eating your carbs and really making sure you get a lot of protein in. And if you haven't already watched it, I have a great video that just discusses the importance of protein and how valuable that can be with regards to fat loss. But I wanted to just simplify things today and just break things down right to the very, very heart of what our diet should be looking like with regards to the food calculations that exist. So I've created a little presentation for you so that you can pause it and replay it and do whatever you need to do with regards to using this video to help you out. So with regards to determining your macros, the number one thing that you need to do is you need to get on a scale. And I know people, hate looking at their actual number, but unfortunately denial gets us nowhere. So we need to find exactly where you are today on the scale. And then what we're going to do is we're going to determine your basal metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is what your calorie intake should be just to maintain your weight. Ideally, what we'd like to do is have your basal metabolic rate go higher than what you're actually able to consume, and therefore you're going to be a fat burning machine. And a very, very rudimentary way that we can determine where your basal metabolic rate is to multiply your current weight, so yes, that weight you just found out by stepping on the scale, and multiplying it by your honest to goodness activity level. So if we multiply it by 11, that's a sedentary person. You're really not doing much other than sitting at your desk, getting in your car, going home, watching TV. Otherwise, you may have more of a low activity level. You're getting out walking, but you're really not increasing your heart rate all that much. Maybe it's more moderate, where you're going to the gym a couple times a week. You're getting your heart rate levels up for anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes, but it definitely isn't high intensity. And then 14 is when you're really giving it your all. You're dripping with sweat, your heart rate's up, and you're doing that multiple times a week, anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week. So by determining that, we can figure out roughly where your calorie intake should be, keeping into account your activity level. Because this is another question that comes up is, well, what about if I exercise today? We're kind of taking that into account. Now, so for example, a 130-pound person with mild activity would be 130 pounds times 12 gives us roughly 1560 with regards to your basal metabolic rate. And if you want to do this a lot more precise, definitely go to myself, another healthcare practitioner, your personal trainer, and get a body composition test done. So with regards to your macros are your macronutrients, proteins, carbs, and fat. For protein, they recommend anywhere from 0.8 grams to as high as 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. Now, if you want to extend this, you could do it just based on lean body mass, so your body weight minus your fat. We're going to keep things simple. So again, a 130-pound person, keeping it a modest 0.8 grams per pound gives us about 104 grams of protein per day. With regards to fat, same type of calculation, but now we're doing 0.4 grams of fat, per pound. And I've seen that go anywhere from 0.3 to 0.6. So again, we're kind of keeping things simple. So that would give you 52 grams of fat per day. This should say fat. Let me just change that right now. Okay, so back on track. And then with regards to carbs, this is where we have to use good old math to kind of change things up. So we have to figure out the calories that we've now implemented so far and kind of backtrack to figure out our carb requirements. So protein and carbs are 4 calories per gram, and fat is a whopping 9 calories per gram. This is one of the reasons why ketogenic diets and paleo diets and low carb diets can still be wonderful at fueling your body, because they're not eliminating fat as much. And look at how many calories you get from lean, healthy fats that you do versus your protein or carbs. This is also why I'm not a huge proponent of a low-fat diet or a no-fat diet at all, or low-fat foods, because that fat is going to nourish our brain, it's going to nourish our skin. We need to have fat just to keep our cells nice and mobile. So based on these calculations, with your protein, we know there's 104 grams times 4 calories gives us 416 calories. For fat, same thing. And then this is where your basal metabolic rate comes in. So the number of calories we want you to get minus what we've already created based on our protein and fat calculations give us 676 calories in carbs that we should be consuming on a daily basis. And then what we can do is we divide that by 4 calories, because we know in every gram of carbohydrate there's 4 calories, and that gives us our total number of 169 grams per day. Now I know that there's definitely a lot of apps that will help you do this already, and if you were to do anything above and beyond what we've calculated here, I would personally increase the protein and keep everything else the same. But I hope that this kind of helps you get back on track in your sort of diet world. And the biggest thing that you need to do in order to get that fat burning happening is follow every single one of these values that we've created today. Based on the diet, of course, it's going to change a little bit, but to keep the things simple today, I just wanted to focus on this. So I hope that this helps you kind of get your weight loss back on track. Keeping things even more simple, we want to focus on protein and not as much carbs, and really get your activity level up, because the more you exercise, the higher your basal metabolic rate goes, the more you can eat, which is kind of nice too. If you have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to put it just below this video or contact me on my website, www.themaximmovement.com. Of course, I want you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm going to really try to bust out lots of great information this year, so you don't want to miss a video. And if you have anything personal that you just want to ask me, you can definitely contact me on the website or get in touch with me on Facebook or Twitter. I hope you have a great day and get your macros back on track. This is Dr. Andrea Maxim, naturopathic doctor, and I hope you have a happy and healthy day.